In a previous episode, co-host Don Robin mentioned that underground punk spaces have a place for certain people living in the Midwest. These spaces are often one of the few spaces where radically different cultures are expressed. One thing about these spaces, though, is that they often do not last for too long. Someone may use a basement or their living room to run a project for a year or two, and then due to various circumstances, the project would end. In Macomb, Illinois, there was a basement venue that had existed a few years back called The Range. It was very successful during its year of operation, and then it ended and was taken over by another project. This episode tries to create a story about this space, the beginning, the middle, and the end. Please excuse the noise in part of this episode. Some unexpected difficulties had happened, causing noise from electrical interference. Otherwise, please enjoy the content of this show. Hey, this is Gordon, your punk sociology host for the podcast.
I'm Trey, Tholen, the co-host of the day.
Tyler, can you say something?
Yo, what's good? My name is Tyler. The good homie, Pansy Boy, whatever you want to call me.
Okay, cool.
I'm everything.
So today, the topic is what happened to and at the Range. And what is the Range? The Range was a mysterious place. It was located right next to Western Illinois University campus. The major instigator of that project is Grant. I knew several musicians who have played in the Range that has made a mark in their life, even though they may have only played there once. Out of 100 shows that I videotaped and attended, there are several ones that I kind of remember for the rest of my life, and one of them definitely occurred at the Range. We had the lead singer of Pansies, a band that no longer is inactive.
We've thought about
now.
Doing like Pansies 2.0, get
Track
it back. Bro, let's get it. Anytime.
Pansies has played in Macomb several times. One time was at the Range. And then we have a member of the band Spooky Action, that has also retired from Action several years back. But Trey, of course, has not retired from Action. He's named one of the best something in Springfield, Illinois. What was the title, Trey?
I want bass player, but I'm playing guitar now.
One of the best bass player several years back, right?
It's not based on skill, so...
And that happened after the Range.
Yeah.
The first question, let us go ahead and start with physical details. What happened at the Range? Tyler?
Well, when I went up to the Range, I was kind of younger. I was about 16, 17 years old. Wasn't really that into partying much, just sophomore high school. Going up there was a lot of fun. Never really gone on super long road trips with my friends, but going out with the band was real nice. Getting there was lit because everybody there was like older, kind of like more college students, and I was like a kid meeting up with all these dudes. It's like, oh, hey, what's up? Coming into the Range and meeting all those people, it was really nice because they were all so very accepting. It felt a lot of reminiscent to what we have here in Springfield that was known as Black Sheep. Everybody was just very friendly, just wide arms welcomed, kind of, or whatever that phrase is. It was really good to just come in and feel at home with everyone.
Probably the first time you were here, you were 15 because you played the summer before at
Yeah,
Creature Fest.
Played Creature Fest.
The Art Center. And then you play a show on December 4th, 2015 with Liberty Street Chew Toy. So what happened that day that made you want to come back? Or what impression did you have about the Range when you first got there?
It was full of just cool guys ready to make some music, really get stuff done, push out stuff that wasn't just all around, like what they wanted to be putting out, not what they felt they needed to put out. And it was just really good change of pace than being where I was usually playing at, because everybody felt like they were kind of hitting at that same note, trying to be the same thing, and then it just wasn't a lot of fun here anymore. So going out to the Range was a very good change of pace.
That it offers some kind of difference in musical style?
Absolutely. If anything, it kind of brought forward like this feeling that I was like I could put on a persona more so because I didn't know anybody there, so it was easier to be like the good homie. Like I didn't have to worry about being Tyler Nelson or worrying about like
Mhm.
who knew me in the crowd or who was looking at me in the crowd. It was just, oh, all these people are strangers. I don't have to worry about what any of them think about me.
Trey, you were actually at the Spooky Action show on February 16th. What was your impression of the range when you first got there?
Well, actually, my first time I went there was to play with the Pansies, and I was 15, younger than everybody. And that time it was a wild night for me, seeing dudes, all the guys and girls just coming together and really not caring about anything. Not necessarily in that manner, but
What do you mean?
They were just really down to earth.
Like, how were they different from the Springfield people?
They were more open-minded. They were appreciative and supportive of each other. They were all a family, and that's not something that people were big on in Springfield. Like, just with random people.
Like family, as in, do they know each other?
Well, I mean, they had just met each other at college,
Mm-hmm. But they formed some kind of family-like relations with each other.
Yeah, but like anyone that went in that group of people was like welcomed with open arms. At least it felt that way,
So, Grant, does it resonate with your impression of what actually happens at a range?
But yeah, I mean, I would agree with like everyone saying it's kind of like a more open arms community, because like whenever I go and travel somewhere and it's like a smaller town, you definitely kind of get that. You kind of get people who are more accepting, because people in a place like Chicago, people are really closed off. They have like their own cliques, and if you're not into what they're into, like they won't accept you. So I've realized that from like bigger cities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And living in Macomb was definitely pretty cool, because everyone just like wants to be friends with you, or people are more willing to accept each other's differences in a smaller town or like a place like that. So I would agree with what they were saying.
There are several people at the range living there. One was Dan Lesher, one is Will Sujak, and one is John Trotter. What were their relations to you, and how involved were they with organizing the range?
They all kind of grew up in the same town as each other. That's how they knew each other. And then I just met them through like going to parties, or they were on board with it. So they were like willing to help, and they were willing to like clean up, and they were really like willing to support the space. In terms of like booking shows and stuff, I was mainly doing that. But yeah, I mean, everyone helped out equally. It's like a lot of cleaning up when you have a place like that. Just a lot of maintaining things while the show's going on. Like if a toilet breaks or a fight happens, so yeah, we had like equal parts in the space, I'd say.
I don't know if you remember, but then when we were trying to hunt for a space, because we were just operating an open mic at the Loft, the Macomb people, so we were desperately needing to find a place that have actual musical bands performance. And then you came to us, and then we toured the Loft, and then I remember you said that, yeah, we can do this with our basement. And then I asked you, how about your roommates? And then you said, I'm good at convincing people. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I asked you about deposits, and then you said you could convince your roommate to forego the deposit.
The security deposit on the house?
Yeah.
So how it worked was I was actually at a show on Murray Street. It was the last like house venue that was there. And I was talking to the house owner, and he was telling me about the venue. And then he said that he was leaving, so he wasn't gonna have the venue. So that kind of like put that in the back of my head. And then I remember meeting you, and then I was kind of like, like we probably make this work. And then I remember getting the house, and my landlord didn't make me pay a security deposit because he said they were tearing the house down after we were done living there. Yeah, I don't even think they made us put one down. So yeah, we pretty much like were allowed to do anything we wanted to the house, which is pretty rare. That doesn't happen too often.
I also asked you a question. How about money? And then you said, fuck money. Okay, you don't remember that.
I don't remember saying that, but it's not. I mean, it really didn't cost us that much money to like run the space. You know, everyone like brought the sound equipment. We really didn't need money for anything besides like cleaning supplies. We did donations from time to time for bands, and then would just give it all to the bands. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't really like expensive to run a space like that.
I want to ask Tyler. You had the name The Good Homie.
Yeah.
And so you have 2 tattoos, I think.
I have a total of 3, but yeah,
One
2
is-
that are related. Yeah.
One is Pansies,
Mhm.
and the other is The Good Homie.
Yep, that one's right on my right hip, and then I got pansy on my arm.
So how does The Good Homie identity or label come about?
Well, good homie is just good. Means no wrong. But I say homie a lot. Homie is one of my favorite words. I'll call everybody my homie. So it just kind of turned into me getting called good homie. I had gotten, like I had said earlier, which again, not condoning underage drinking. It's not good. I highly regret it. But when I had gotten sick, people would ask me if I was good homie, and I was like, yeah, I'm good homie, and proceed to throw up.
Mm-hmm.
The name kind of stuck real well, and to this day I'm still referred to as the good homie, so
Right.
it works real well.
So it came out of that night of you feeling sick after drinking certain
Yeah.
things, and then people asked if you were a good homie,
Yeah, and I'm good homie.
and then you tattoo it onto your.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grant, let me ask you. So now we're moving to the second question. What was the original idea of the range or range life?
The original, I mean, it was the Range Life that came 1st, which was it was kind of like a t-shirt. I started making t-shirts and needed a name for them, so I started calling it Range Life. And that kind of just formed into like I don't know, it was kind of like a cult, I guess. That me and my friends, we would just say Range Life, and we made a movie actually too. But yeah, when we moved into the space, I needed a name, so I called it The Range.
You also mentioned a song that go with it.
Oh yeah, Range Life by Pavement, one of the greatest songs ever. Listen to it if you haven't listened to it.
So when you agreed to do a house show space, did what happened in those space match what you had in your mind? Or did it turn into something else that you didn't really expect?
Obviously, you know, there's going to be things that happen during the shows and stuff that you don't want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I expected it to be the way it was, just because like it was college kids, so like you know, some people aren't going to be into the music as much as you would want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I pretty much expected everything to happen the way it did.
I remember you put a lot of work into designing the physical space, the artwork. You spray painted some cactuses, I remember.
Yeah.
You had a Jesus painting. You had a skateboard kind of thing being screwed onto the wall. In your mind, like, are you into the art scene, the music scene, the social scene? What is it, do you think, that you want to bring people together into this place called the Range for?
I would say like the town is just so boring. Like there's nothing happening in Macomb. I mean, there are things happening, but like it's boring, and like, you know, it's like every weekend you're like doing the same thing there. Just doing something like that was cool because like I think it exposes people to, you know, just different things. Just because like out in towns like that, people don't have like access to house shows, or you know, that maybe it's their first house show they've been to. And it's just cool. Like a house venue is cool in general because like there's not as much rules. You know, you can kind of do what you want. Like it usually doesn't cost money. Like you can bring your own beer.
Well, when I look at your videos, actually it was the movie, The Range Life. There were a lot of things that you started. You just called it a t-shirt company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, initially, but there were all these entourage of skaters, of people, and the people who actually were no longer with us. That was what the film dedicated to. Many people who are in RIP statuses.
Yes.
So, my question is, in Chicago, what happened with Range Life?
Um,
How come people couldn't just be happy and live happily?
I think it's just like a lifestyle that you can't live forever. You know, like you can't like consistently do drugs and like party all the time. Like there comes a time and point when you have to get a job, or like, you know, you have to like grow up a little bit, or I don't know. I feel like I'm still kind of living like I'm a kid, and like I see a lot of my friends, they either like get girlfriends or they buy houses, or some of them die, some of them go to jail. I don't know. I think you just can't live that way forever. And that's kind of how it falls apart.
I mean, the movie was actually very heavy, even though.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like we couldn't do like a sequel or anything. It would be so forced, you know. It's like a band doing a reunion tour. Like it's just kind of like forced, and it doesn't feel right.
I would say the movie would mean a lot less if I had not witnessed what happened at the range in Macomb.
Yeah.
That was sort of the golden moment, even though you talk about this lifestyle that may not last forever. But then when they do last, and when they do have one or two great moments, that was what happened in Macomb, which was this amazing confluence of people, a bunch of chaos. You don't know what is going to happen in the next second. Yeah, I remember the energy in that room was kind of amazing because of the acceptance. You get accepted into this scene where the possibility was sort of undefined. Let me ask Trey and Tyler, what you have listened to what Grant said about the range life idea. When you were at Macomb, the range, what did you see as some images that may match what is in the movie? Have you watched the movie?
I have watched the movie, yes.
Yeah.
I actually had not watched the movie. I wasn't able to get a copy of it.
But we took from the range that we thought it was a really good idea, and we didn't leave a very great impression on them, but we really got a dig for what they had there, so we took it back to our town, moved into a house, and started throwing shows in town. And, you know, that kind of branched out from the range, and I mean, there's many other places that have started because of the range. Macomb's still doing stuff because of that place. But, yeah, it just changed lives, man.
Well,
there was a lot of drama that came with it, and there's a lot at the range that happened that we don't know, and that'd be a lot for Grant to get into.
So that brings us to the third question, which is how did the project end and what happened afterwards? You claim that there is some kind of afterlife, that after you went to a range show, you were motivated or inspired in some kind of ways to start something in Springfield?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, we had been playing shows for a little while, and up until that point, we really never, like, were too committed to it, and after that, we were just like, alright, we gotta live this life, and we all learned living that life ain't that great, but we did it, and I don't regret any of it, you know, but it sparked a small music scene in Springfield. We were successfully able to put on 4 shows, and every single one of them had a great turnout. Everybody had a wonderful time, but crazy things happening there.
Can you describe what the shows are for the people who don't know about your band?
We threw shows called the Spook House shows. We had one on Halloween, one for Tyler's going away party, and 2 just for shits and giggles. And we tried to get at least three people to play at every one. Only 2 of them we were able get 3 people to play, but we just wanted people to be able to enjoy music and enjoy each other. We didn't appreciate this music scene that we had at the time, so we didn't want to play there, so we threw our own shows, you know.
But now that you have mentioned it, you said that because you have been playing in Macomb, you want to copy some of those ideas and develop that back into Springfield.
Well, they had a really good idea, and we took it and ran with it. It turned out not to be the best idea, but I don't regret anything. So.
Mm-hmm. So Tyler, do you remember, like, how is that scene different from the Springfield mainstream scene?
I actually only got to make it to, I think, 2 of the spooky action shows, and I wasn't able to make it to the Halloween one specifically because we had one that was my going away show, and that's me leaving to Philadelphia, so we had that one. So I missed the Halloween one, which I've heard was very exciting. Lots of things that happened there. Mm-hmm. It differed a lot from Black Sheep because with Black Sheep, or the just main venue of Springfield, Illinois, I felt that there was kind of a based hierarchy in the feelings of being there. Like, there were your people that were on top and had, like, controls over the bands that would play first and last and just kind of put everything together, which they do have that power, but then there was, like, a smaller hierarchy underneath them of the cool guys, less cool guys, and then the guys that just show up to shows, don't have any type of power. And I really didn't like that, like, feeling, because people would start to call out other people. But when it came to going to shows at the Spook House, it felt a lot more communal, less like somebody was in control. Rather, we were all there for each other, not one person watching everybody else, or a group of people being in control of the entire group of people. It felt more communal, and everybody was just together because they wanted to be together, not because there was a show at this time that everybody had to be at. It's because they wanted to go, which just gave it a better, genuine feeling.
Yeah. So Grant, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Are you big on the hierarchy? In booking bands?
No, not at all. It wasn't really like that. At least I don't think so. It was kind of like whatever band wanted to play, they could play, as long as it wasn't an excessive amount of bands. But yeah, I mean, that's like the problem with a lot of like house venues and like house shows is like, I don't know, people try to like make it prestigious, or like just like set up a hierarchy, which is like the exact opposite of, I don't know, of like punk music in general, or like music or being creative in general.
My impression of your artwork and your art style is that it has that non-hierarchy feeling to a lot of it. You like serving images, cactuses, something that everyone can have a place to relate to.
Yeah. Cowboys,
going naked.
Naked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll do a separate podcast on that topic.
Just that topic.
Okay.
Just okay. Let me go and ask a question. How and why did the project end? I remember you had that 1 year of active organizing, and then the year later you were still in town, but then you were not as active as the year before. Is that right?
Yeah. So I moved out. They knocked down the house, and then I moved into another house that was having house shows and stuff, but I didn't have it in me to keep doing the house shows and keep organizing them. I still helped with the shows, but I don't know, I didn't have it in me to like keep organizing them. I just let someone else do that. It seemed like they wanted to do that more than me, so.
Was it too much energy that was taxing you out? Or what was it?
But I don't know, I was graduating. I was kind of, at that time, I was getting more into tattooing. I remember working like really weird jobs that year too. And yeah, it was just, there was a lot on my plate, and like adding the house shows onto my plate again would have just been too much for me. But yeah, it was never like starting a house venue was never like my it was never like a dream of mine. It was just kind of something that like happened.
I think my question that goes deeper is are you disillusioned with the whole range project, or were you too tired to, because many things also happen, right? When you're organizing a house show, part of it is not just cleaning up, it is dealing with a lot of aftermath, like people breaking things.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, with that, like, again, the house was getting destroyed. So, like, I remember people were, like, they took off a door, and they were, like, riding the door down my staircase. And, like, yeah, normally that would be, like, really bad, but it didn't really matter because the house was getting knocked down. So, yeah, it was fun. Like, I love breaking things and burning things, so... Like, that was awesome living in that house. You just do whatever you wanted to. It was, like, amazing. But the worst part is beer. Like, when beer gets spilled on your floor, it smells so bad. And when it gets, like, all over your carpet, like, it just smells so bad. The house would reek for, like, 7 days after we would throw a show. It would just, like, reek like beer. It was so nasty.
And do your roommates care about it? Do you have an argument over it?
No. I mean, I think after the first show, it's just like expected. Even after like a party, it's just like expected. It's gonna be nasty and gross.
I think I'm gonna ask Trey a kind of a personal question. How did the Spook House sort of end? Because I think the Spook House was inspired by the range a little bit, right?
Well, I mean, we didn't run into exactly the same problems that Grant did, but we all, I mean, just lived that life, tried to party all the time, and just, I mean, we had a really good time every single night, but we had a little bit of, like, we had too much fun every single night, and you just can't do that continuously, and we all got tired of it being in each other's space all the time, got a little rough, and we just decided to call it quits.
It's hard to maintain a band house as well, right? Even though, yeah, the range is not exactly a band house, but if you have several roommates willing to clean up, then that helps a lot.
Yeah, and all the messes from all the parties were ridiculous, but like after the first one, you expect it, and it's a really fun time messing everything up. So, but the next morning is a little bit hysterical. But like once you come home from work, you're like, oh man, I gotta clean all this up.
So if there's anyone out there that wants to watch the movie, they can reach out to me. I got a link that I can send you through YouTube. It's a great movie. It's pretty funny. A lot of partying. What else could I add about the range? It was good, man. I would encourage anyone to go out and do something like that if they want to. And I didn't know that you guys had like opened your own venue, and I'm glad like I took part in inspiring you guys to do that. That makes me feel really good.
So this is a wrap for this episode. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Before we end, I want to say that we have a Bandcamp, which is midwestcc.bandcamp.com, midwestcc.bandcamp.com. We also have a YouTube channel that feel free to post any comments if you have a YouTube account. The YouTube channel is Macomb Events, so it is youtube.com/Macomb Events. Now I'm going to ask my guests about their websites and web pages. Tyler, do you have anything?
If you want to hit me up on Snapchat, it's PanzyKid2413, PANZYKID 2413.
This is Trey, and you can check me out on Instagram. It's Tholen _TREETHOLEN _. I have shows coming up with the Pleiades and Jared Grimble. You can find out when they are on there.
Okay. Grant?
So my Instagram is hanging out with my friends, and there's some, that's what I'm doing nowadays, so If anyone out there wants a tattoo, that's all I'm doing with my life now.
Tattooing is your life. Or hang out with your friends.
Tattooing is my life now. Yeah, I still hang out with my friends. Yeah, I got really drunk last night. I'm really hungover right now.
Oh.
Okay.
So worth it though.
Right. Well, I think you have tattooed almost half of the town of Macomb. Everywhere I go, people tell me that they have a tattoo from you.
Yeah, I gotta go back soon.
You'll be remembered in Macomb for a long time, just for that.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We will also have links to the performance clips on Pansies and Spooky Action at the range, available on the show notes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We will see you next time. Thank you for listening.